The first and most important step in developing a neovim plugin is making sure your idea isn't hot ass, which is actually harder than it sounds because we're seeing tons of like terrible plugins being churned out. And my theory is it's because people want to like promote their GitHub account and just look cool. At least that's why I did it, but don't make fun of those people because they probably like feel really bad about it. So here's another half-baked plugin idea as an example to go through the process of publishing a plugin. So my idea is basically sometimes they're like files that kind of come in pairs. For instance, C++ files have header files, and same with C files. They kind of have type definitions usually and go with them. And I wanted to be able to switch between those really quickly. And maybe there's a plugin that already does this, but I couldn't find it easily. So I wrote like a little thing. If I open up a C++ file, you can see it says include engine.h at the top. You could like use Telescope and then like look up engine H and switch to it, but that's too much work for us in the Vim industry. Instead, we have to do leader B, and then boom, you're at either one. Another example of this I found is with fragment shaders and vertex shaders. If you don't know, in 3D rendering, there's like two different shaders that kind of translate 3D to 2D, and then one colors them in. It's a little more complicated than that, but that's the gist. So you want to switch between those two shaders. There you go, easy as that. Another example is if you have a meta framework like Next or Nuxt, they have server files, and Svelte does too, and then page files, and sometimes you want to switch between those quickly to update logic and UI. So basically how I did this is if I open up, I think it's in keys, yeah, I have a function called jump pair, and what it does is it gets the file extension, and then it has a bunch of source extensions and a bunch of header extensions, and it kind of just takes what the source extension is, and if it's one of these ones, it tries to match it to an existing header. So if you've got a C++ file, it'll say like, oh sweet, there's a .h or .hpp, then let's just jump to that version. If it doesn't, we just say not a recognized pair, and here's the code to switch it. Super simple. Yeah, corresponding file not found if we don't find it. And then I just have leader B mapped to that. So that's all well and good, but that's just some config stuff. And what you want to do is cram this down someone else's throat and farm clout online for it at the same time. So how you do that is you find a plugin template. I found this one, it's pretty good. It has like a little script that can help you rename your plugin. It has a nice little template. So what you're gonna do is clone this. So I'll copy the repository, go to my projects, git clone, paste that in, and then we want to rename the whole thing. So mv-recursive nvim plugin template, and then let's switch that to pair to be cute. Oh, a legal option. I think it probably wants a slash right there too. Nope. I thought you could move recursively. Maybe I don't need that. Yeah, there we go. So open that up, called pair, using Tmux Sessionizer, by the way. And then let's cd into that. Okay, we're on main, that's great. But first, let's paste in our function. So I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna delete it actually, so I don't have a duplicate in my config. Well, actually, yeah. Okay, and then the entry, what? Why can't I type V? There we go, frickin' zish. Okay, to open up, I think it's a knitpy is where you start. But let's run the rename script. So in pair, cd back into it, and go into fish, there we go. Actually, stay in zish. We have to rename, so I'm gonna run rename, actually Python 3 rename.py, that's what they say in the docs. Pretty sure, yep, rename.py. Okay, oh, and I have to pass it pair. Plugin, yes. You wanna remove, yes. Okay, sweet. Did that just say all work's done instead of work? This is not an English speaker, or they just made a typo, so I'm gonna go fix that in a PR, farm that GitHub clout. Okay, this should be gone now. Edit bang, yep. Okay, so we want to create a new module, local m, return that module, return m, set this be empty, and then say paste in our function. I actually think I didn't copy it to the system clipboard, so I'm going to go redo that. Yank, go visual, delete. Okay, paste that in there. The reason I yanked twice there is one, because I have a space Y to get it to system clipboard, and then I wanted to delete it. I should really have leader D for that, but I don't know why I don't. And then let's say jump pair, we have to define it on it. So m dot jump pair equals function, and then I think we can delete that like that. Beautiful, and we should be good. Now we have to make a GitHub repository for this. So what I'm going to do is say gh repo create public pair. GraphQL name already exists in this account, create repository. I guess I already have one in pair. Maybe I've done this in the past. Git remote remove origin, git remote add origin, sylvanfranklin / pair. I don't know if I need the full URL. Sweet, I don't think I did. Let's let lazy git take over, add commit, chore init. Boom. Fatal. Oh shit. Okay, that did not work. Git remote remove origin, git remote add origin, https://github.com/sylvanfranklin/pair. Okay, there we go. Push, force push, boom. I think I had an old version of this video running. That's why I'm switching shells to avoid completion. Anything for the theatrics, you know. Okay, so that's great. How do we install it? I have this website called Installma. It's kind of half-baked, but what it lets you do is generate install instructions. So I'm gonna say pair, and this will give Packer and lazy. So I can copy Packer. I think the copy button is not working at the moment. That's why I'm doing this. So I'm going to open up my config. We need to install this plugin in lazy. The way you do that is you actually have a neovim. You have like a plugins directory. So I'm going to create a new one called pair.lua. And then here you just set up the thing. So I'm just going to paste that thing I copied earlier with Packer. You don't need that. And then we return this table. So when Franklin shows pair, it's not. And then we don't have a setup method. What we do have is that one switch pairs method. I think that's what it's called. Init jump pair. So what we do is, let's just say local pair equals require pair, and then vim.keymap.set. I actually don't think it's that. Let me jump into keys, see what it is. Okay, I'll delete that and bring it back. We need it in the function. Leader B, Lua jump pairs, but this time it's going to be a DT quote. There we go. A function, and in here I'm just going to call pair.jump pairs, and that can stay silent. And this will be my install instructions for the plugin. So I'm going to yank that, system yank it actually, go back to the plugin, open up the README, delete everything here, pair.neovim. Actually, it's just pair. There's no neovim. Well, I'll put it anyway. Easily switch between two file pairs. Yeah. And then paste this. Actually, I'll just paste the entire thing. Install. Oops. Make this slightly smaller. Lua code block. Paste it. There we go. That's looking good. I'm just going to equals this out to make sure the formatting is good. Delete the bottom. Check that this looks good on peak. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, and then push that. Commit feet. Actually, docs readme. Push that. Go back here. Now let's check this worked. So I'm going to go into Vim, It's not installing. That's probably because it's already installed because I had an earlier version of this. So I'm gonna sync, it should reinstall, pair, yep. And now let's just check this is working. Let's see, do I have a C++ file? Well, I'll just check in a TypeScript file, types. Jump pairs, nil value. Did I misspell it? What is wrong? Pair.jump pairs. Is this? Pair. Plugin. Init. Oh, it's actually just jump pair. Okay. I won't rename it because this will be easier. I'll just say jump pair. And then we should be good to open up a typed file, not a recognized file pair. Boom, so it's working. And just to verify that, if I go to my 3D engine, 3D learning resources, whatever, and then I go back into Vim, open up a C++ file, and that doesn't have a corresponding header. Let's try engine. Boom, switching perfectly. So that's pretty much it. Let's see, anything else I want to add? There are tests and stuff, but I don't really feel like writing those right now. Those are a later me problem, or some kind contributor can add them. That's how you churn out plugin slop. We can go verify this is all up to date and working. If I open up pair, and then I have a little shortcut to open the GitHub, give it a star, hella contributors already. That's weird. Why is everyone contributing? Weird. Well, I'll figure that out in the future. Thanks. Okay, kind of a dumbass. Those are just contributors from this being a template, so don't freak out if you think people are like griefing your thing. They're not. No one cares. So yeah, thanks. Hopefully you can churn out something meaningful to this community.